Alrighty then. Successful Indie Author 5 Minute Focus, episode 1024. Is the book no one reads still worth writing? That's a hard question because it's the chicken and the egg. Because if you haven't written it yet, how do you know no one's reading it? Unfortunately, as authors, we get to find out. We write the book and then no one reads it, no one buys it. One of my best books is one of my least read books, and that's okay. Why? Because I learned something. Not about reader behavior, but about the book, about writing. Anytime you write, you learn more about writing. So writing is good. Write. And you wrote a book that nobody read. Well, sometimes that happens. Not all books sell. And not selling now doesn't mean it won't sell forever. I found that out with my very first book. I wrote it, I published it, and nobody bought it. Why? Because they didn't know it was there. I pulled it down, we licensed it to a trad pub outlet, and then all of a sudden, hey, look at that. It's an all-world bestseller. The original book that I wrote that nobody bought. Because nobody bought it, I didn't know how to put it in the right people's hands. But my publisher did. And they did, and it made good money. So better that than not having written it at all. Because you do get to find out that, yes, people do like my book. And then I got a lot of great input. Hey, great story. Little structure problems. Okay, great. I get it. I hadn't written a lot yet. So, of course, there's going to be some structure problems. Of course, there's going to be some grammar flaws. Even with it edited, there's going to be other issues. But we can fix those. If there are fatal flaws in your book, guess what? You can fix those. Because then you pull it down, fix it, put it back up. All words are good words because they exist. There are a lot of people who say, oh, yeah, I'd write a book, but I don't want to deal with XXX, all kinds of excuses. But in the end, they never wrote the book. If they wrote the book and started putting it out there, then that hunger would be inside saying, I got to write another book. I learned something, and it would be a waste to take what I learned and not put it into practice and not learn more, not get better. Your first book is not going to be your best book. How can it be? You're not practiced yet. You're not experienced. But once you are, guess what? Sky's the limit. Even though people may not read that first book. They may not like it. It may not be the best example of you, and I suggest it is not the best example of what you're capable of. So is it still worth writing? Absolutely. Anything we do is worth doing because we learn something from it. Even those things in high school that we considered pretty stupid, we learned. Those things we learned in the Marine Corps when we were not on the front lines, when we were not actively doing stuff, when we were doing other stuff to occupy our minds. Yeah. Looking back now, boy, that stuff was really stupid, but it made for great stories. 40 years later, here it is, great stories, because we did those things. We learned, we experienced, we didn't do them a second time. So that's wisdom, not doing a stupid thing a second time. When you write, that's not a stupid thing. You're learning, you're getting better, you're storytelling, and people may like it, just may not like it today because you're not putting it in the right reader's hands. Right? Hopefully that helps. Every story is worth writing. Good luck. Get those words. Peace, fellow humans.